Hi and welcome to this practical theory guitar lesson kind of thing that I'm going to be doing, where I'm going to be talking about a couple of different concepts. It's going to be based around scales, so I'm going to be showing two major scales and two octaves, and two minor scales and two octaves as well. But one of the reasons I've chosen this as an idea for the lesson is I want to talk about proper finger placement and how to play in position when playing the likes of scales and licks and riffs and stuff like that as well. And I think scales are probably, because it's a sequence of notes that are played across the strings on the neck, it's probably the best way to practice it. So I'm going to start off. The first scale I'm going to show you is the C major scale across two octaves. So I'm just going to play it slowly for you so you can hear how it sounds, and then I'm going to break it down bit by bit. Okay, so for that, the notes that we're actually playing, I'm going to go through all the different notes we're playing and what finger that you're going to be used to be playing them. So as a rule of thumb, for playing these types of scale shapes, we'll use the C major scale as an example first. The index finger is going to be covering any notes that are on the 7th fret. The middle finger is going to be covering any notes on the 8th fret. Ring finger will be covering notes on the 9th fret, and the pinky will be covering notes on the 10th fret. The main reason we do this is so that we have like a finger per fret, so that when you're playing you sort of always know where your fingers are, and you're not having to worry about constantly looking to check, you know, if you're hitting the right frets on the right strings or not. So what we're going to do to start, we're going to take our middle finger onto the 8th fret of the low E string. Next note on the scale is being played by the pinky, which is the 10th fret, which is our D note. Next note, we're coming down to the A string now. So we've got the index finger on the 7th fret, middle finger on the 8th fret, and the pinky on the 10th fret. So far we have this. On the D string, when we come to the D string, we have 7th fret on the D string with the index finger. Ring finger's coming to grab the B note on the 9th fret, and the pinky's reaching up to the 10th fret for our C note. So that's us hit our first octave. Once we reach C, that's our 1 octave major scale, but now we're going to extend that into 2 octaves. We have the pinky on the C note, and then to start the sequence we have the index finger on the G string at the 7th fret, ring finger on the 9th fret, pinky again on the 10th fret. So it's the same fret pattern as we had on the D string. And then this is where it gets slightly awkward, because we have the middle finger on the 8th fret of the B string, pinky on the 10th fret, index finger's coming to the 7th fret to grab that B note, and then the middle finger's hitting the C note to finish. So slowly we have this. So if you're watching carefully, I'm always keeping each finger assigned to each fret. When you start to play in different positions, then this rule, you can sort of chop and change it if you need to, depending on obviously where you are. Like if you're maybe up here playing certain scales, the ring finger can be used to go 4 frets up from where your index finger is, where normally it would be the pinky that would be doing that job. It just all depends on like how, because obviously the higher up the neck you go, the fret spaces become a lot smaller. So the spaces between the fret wires, become a lot smaller. So you can compensate for that, but it just depends. That again can be a case of personal preference. Okay, so we've covered our C major scale. I'm now going to show you a G major scale. Now it's the exact same finger pattern. If you imagine it like a sort of box shape that's been played on all 6 strings, all we're doing is taking our lowest note and moving it down to the 3rd fret, and then we start the sequence again. So again, using the finger per fret method, we have middle finger on the 3rd fret of the low E, pinky's coming up to the 5th fret on the low E. Coming to the A string, we have 2nd fret with the index finger, 3rd fret with the middle finger, 5th fret with the pinky. Moving to the next string, we have 2nd fret with the index finger, ring finger on the 4th fret, of the D string, then pinky on the 5th fret. And then when we come to the G string, we have the 2nd fret with the index finger, ring finger on the 4th, pinky on the 5th, and then the same idea, sort of fret pattern that we had with the C major scale, we have the middle finger on the 3rd fret, pinky on the 5th fret, first finger, so index finger's coming at the 2nd fret, and then middle finger's coming to play the G note to finish on the 3rd fret. So altogether we have this. Cool. So I hope you can see that we've got the major scale pattern for starting with notes on the low E string. It's basically the same sort of box shaped pattern that we're using for each time. It's just depending on what low note that we're starting on changes the key of the particular scale. But that's a major scale shape. That shape, particular pattern of notes and frets starting on a note on the low E string will give you a major scale sound. Okay, so now moving on to the minor scale shapes. I've chosen the A minor scale and the E minor scale in the open position, because the open position it's slightly different the way you would maybe do it, but the same kind of concept still applies. So we have, we'll start with A minor, so I'm just going to play the shape slowly for you. Okay, so for this involves a position shift that we'll be using at some point, but I'll get to that in a minute. So the first note we're playing is 5th fret on the low E with the index finger. Ring finger's coming to the 7th fret, pinky's coming to the 8th fret, and it's the same fret pattern on the next string, on the A string. And then when we come to the D string, in most cases using the finger per fret method, we would play first finger on the 5th fret and then the ring finger on the 7th fret. However, the next note that we're having to grab on the G string after that is actually at the 4th fret, so we have to use a little bit of position shifting. So to do this, what we're going to be doing is, instead of playing the ring finger on the 7th fret, we're going to be using the pinky, which allows the index finger to reach up to the 4th fret to grab that note there. So I'll just demonstrate that slowly from the start. So it's not this, it's... I mean, you can do that and it would work if you practiced that enough, but just doing that, you can just ensure yourself that you're going to be able to get the finger there in the right position. Okay. So from there, we use the middle finger on the 5th fret, pinky on the 7th fret, then we're coming down to the 5th fret with the index finger, so we've got another position shift. We're bringing the first finger back in to cover notes on the 5th fret there. So 5th fret, then we have the middle finger on the 6th fret, which is our F note. Pinky's going to grab the 10th fret of the B string, and then the index finger's going to grab the 5th fret of the high E, which is our A note. So that's our 2nd octave of A. So slowly again, with the position shift, we have this. Forgot to mention as well, on the way back when we're playing that, when we're coming back on the B string to the 5th fret, the next note obviously is the 7th fret on the G. We want to use the pinky for that again to allow us to be able to efficiently move up to the 4th fret with the index finger. And then when we hit the 7th fret on the D string with the pinky, instead of using the middle finger, we use the index finger, and then that's us back with this finger over the 5th fret position, and we can just end it the same way we started it. So slowly again we have this. Oh, sorry. Okay, now the last scale I want to talk about is the E minor scale in open position. Again, we're going to be using open strings for this, but the same kind of idea applies. What we're going to be doing here is using the index finger to cover strings on the 1st fret, middle finger 2nd fret, ring finger 3rd fret, pinky 4th fret, but we're not really going to need any of the notes on the 4th fret, so it's only going to be these 3 fingers that we're going to be using. Okay, so I'll just play it slowly to start with, just so you can get an idea. Okay, so first set of notes we're going to be using, we have the open E string, we have the middle finger coming on at the 2nd fret, ring finger coming on at the 3rd fret, and then it's the same pattern again on open A, 2nd fret A, 3rd fret A. So. Then when we come to the D string, we have the open D string, 2nd fret with the middle finger. Pinky's coming up to the 4th fret actually, sorry, yeah, we were using notes on the 4th fret, which is our F sharp note. We then have the G open. We have the middle finger on the 2nd fret. So far we have this. And then when we come to the B string, it's played open. We then have index finger on the 1st fret, ring finger on the 3rd fret, and then the open E string to finish. So that's us hitting our key note in the 2nd octave. And then back the way, obviously. Sorry. Okay, so well, that brings us to the end of the lesson. I hope you've managed to pick up a few things from that. Again, the finger per fret method's a really good way of developing proper muscle memory, so when you're learning new chord shapes, it's a really efficient way. It's sort of like a rule of thumb that a lot of people use. Like I said, there are variations that you might want to use depending on what you're playing, or you know how far the notes are apart from each other that you're playing. But again, a lot of the time that can come down to personal preference as well. So yeah, hope you managed to pick up something for that, and thanks again for watching.